first thing you do when you come off tour?
Eat junk food.
Hi, Dave Grohl.
Hey, man.
How you doing?
All right.
What is the greatest guitar solo of all time?
Oh, the greatest guitar solo of all time. That's tricky. Jimmy Page, I think, is my favorite soloist. I loved the way that he was always teetering on the edge of total chaos, but seemed to place every note in a space that really drew emotion. And so when you watch a movie like Song Remains the Same, or any live footage from, 71, 73, 75, even the earlier stuff, he's just going for it, And it's that sort of fearlessness that I respect most in musicians, not perfection or any sort of, clean technical proficiency. I really like to see musicians right on the edge of just falling apart. And he did that in the most beautiful way. That being said, there was an instrumental record by an American legend named Ry Cooder. He scored a movie called Paris, Texas in the 80s. And the soundtrack to that film is my favorite album of all time, Paris, Texas by Ry Cooder. And it sort of paints this sort of barren desert landscape, but he does it with a slide guitar, and it's just it's simple and emotive and amazing. So one of those two.
Cool. You are famously the nicest man in rock, but who is nicer? Barack Obama, Rick Astley, or Dave Grohl?
Well, I would definitely take last in that list of people. Rick Astley is, without question, one of the nicest people I've ever met in my life.
For sure.
Barack Obama was also wonderfully generous whenever we spoke with each other. He's very cool, I mean, very cool, like, hey, what's up, man? Like, he's cool.
Is it odd for a president to be, someone in that position to be so cool?
Well, it's funny, actually. I got to meet George W. Bush once when I played at a Kennedy Center Honors. They were honoring the Who, and I was performing to do that. And the night before, you go to the State Department for this reception dinner. I had to make a speech at the State Department. And the next day, you go to the White House and they give the people the medals. And then you go straight to the Kennedy Center from there. And so I was downstairs looking for my jacket in the White House. I was downstairs looking around for my jacket.
Snooping around?
Kind of. And we're in this hallway, and the Secret Service come by, and they're like, everyone step aside, the president's coming through. And there were maybe 4 or 5 other people in the hallway. And I'm the only guy that looks like this in the White House. And so he's walking through, and I'm standing against a wall. He looks up at me, he goes, I see you down there, dude. I was like, whoa, I kind of want to party with that guy now. But of those 3, I would have to go with President Obama.
Good.
Considering that his job was maybe a little more complicated than Rick Astley's. And he managed to keep us cool.
How many pairs of black jeans do you own?
Do I own?
Yeah.
It's funny, when we come out, fuck you, motherfucker. When we come out, see, not the nicest guy. When we come out on tour, I usually just get a bunch of the same kind of pants. Because it's gross, man. Like, by the end of the show, it's like, you don't want to have anything to do with those pants. So, but I found this great, this is for GQ.
Yeah.
So I was shopping once for Christmas, and this guy comes up and says, we have mutual friends, and he says, I have a jean company. He goes, well, I'll send you some. I was like, okay. And I hate shopping, and I usually, if someone sends me something, it looks weird or doesn't fit. And they're called Fidelity jeans. And he sent me a pair of these jeans, and they're the best jeans I've ever worn in my life.
Great.
And so I immediately called him, like, I need 12 pairs of these jeans because I'm going on tour for 2 years. So every night you see me on stage, Fidelity jeans.
Okay, there you go. Good. When was the last time you got arrested?
The last time I got arrested? Oh God, it's been a long time. I think the last time I was arrested was 2000. I guess not that long ago. 2002 or 2003.
What was that for?
I got a drunk driving charge on a scooter in the Gold Coast in Australia.
Cool.
Not cool at all, actually. We were on this tour with a lot of bands that were actual criminals.
Right.
You know? And I was the
Legit
guy.
criminals.
I was the only one that gets thrown in jail. It was the Big Day Out tour. And it's like, you know, nobody in Primal Scream went to jail, but I went on a scooter after a show and got thrown in clink.
How many times a week do you wash your hair?
Well, it depends. If I'm at home, you know, maybe 3 times, twice, maybe. But if I'm sweating it up every night, you don't want to
Grizzly
know
locks.
what comes out of my hair after a show. Guitar picks, bras.
Do you have that a song or that one song that you have never quite finished and perhaps never will?
Yes. And I actually gave it to someone recently. But I tried for years. I thought it was the coolest thing ever. We tried it, kind of worked on it. Then I actually contacted Bowie about doing it together for this movie soundtrack. That didn't work out.
You didn't like it?
He didn't like the movie.
Oh, shit.
I know.
Sucks.
Yeah, it wasn't me, it was the movie. And so, and then I started working on it again, and then I gave it to another band who hasn't used it yet.
Can you tell us which band it was?
No.
Okay.
I don't want to spoil the surprise.
What's the first thing you do when you come off tour?
Eat junk food. You would think that while we're on the road, we
Gorge.
eat.
Yeah.
You'd imagine it's just like Burger King every day, but it's not. We have these people that cook for us at shows for us and our crew. They're amazing caterers, and then we, you know, stay in these amazing hotels. So the first thing I want when I get back is like a fucking nasty taco. That's pretty much it.
You're a hero to many, as we know, but who is your hero?
My mother.
Right.
We've talked about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, of all the people I've ever met in my life, I think that she's just the most brilliant and strong and caring and sweet and genuine and polite. She's, you know, she's an intellectual. She's a brilliant woman, but she's not a know-it-all. So she's got that Southern demeanor where,
right,
you know, you don't correct people when they're wrong all the time. And she's cool.
Right.
Yeah.
Liam or Noel?
I'm not sticking my fucking hand in that hornet's nest. You know, clearly they're both brilliant. I love Liam. He's hilarious, man. We have done shows with him, and I fucking love hanging out with him. If he's in the building, I will try to go to find him just to get 1 minute of FaceTime with him because it always cheers me up. And he's got it. He's still got it. He never lost it. And so now he's out there doing shows and stuff. Noel, I spend more time watching Noel's interviews. I think Noel is one of the best interviews in the world. He talks shit about us sometimes.
What's he said about the foods?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Just
Stuff.
what did he say? He's like, what's that all about? I didn't know. But I could watch his interviews all fucking day long, and I do sometimes.
Is it ever okay to wear leather trousers?
Sure, why not? Yeah, no rules, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I guess. I don't know if I've ever had leather trousers. It doesn't sound comfortable.
No. On
Does
stage, I can imagine that's very chafing.
Yeah.
It's a kind of chafing situation.
Maybe
perhaps.
get the baby powder in there first.
Yeah, that's true. When was the last time you threw a punch and meant it?
Oh, that's been a long time. That was in my 20s. I think it was before I was in Nirvana. Some drunk German dude was trying to steal our t-shirts out of our van or something. I beat him up.
What's the greatest misconception about Nirvana?
About Nirvana?
Yeah.
That it was a bummer.
Right.
Because it wasn't always a bummer. There were times where it was so outrageously hilarious and fun. Kurt had an amazing sense of humor, and Chris Novoselic, if you've ever spent time with him, is one of the funniest people you've ever met. but it's just sort of like, it's kind of like living in a loud, distorted version of Monty Python. And so when it gets dark, it gets fucking dark. But when it's not, it's
like
fucking
a flying
hilarious.
foot.
Yeah, it's crazy. But yeah, I think most people imagine that it was just like, fuck, all the time. And it just wasn't. There were times that were really great.
Can you tell us a joke?
A joke?
Do you have a joke?
I could tell you a lot of drummer jokes.
We'll take a drummer joke.
What's the last thing the drummer said before he got kicked out of the band?
Don't know.
Hey guys, I got a song I think we should play. Or the drummer that had twins, named them Anna 1 and Anna 2. See, that's why I don't tell jokes. So I think jokes aren't really that funny. Yeah.
Have you had a near-death experience?
Yeah. I almost drowned once surfing. That sucked.
Wow.
That was, I think, the last time I went
Got
surfing.
caught in a, what do you say? I don't know the technical
Well,
terms.
this is a long time ago. I started surfing on the East Coast, which some people don't consider to be surfing, but I had a house in North Carolina on the beach, which was beautiful, man. It was like wild horses running around, and the water's warm, and the people are really friendly, so there's no localism, like surf gang stuff. And you would just sit out there and surf these, 4-foot waves, drinking beer all day long, and it was fun. And then I came out to the West Coast, to Santa Cruz, where I have a bunch of friends, and I borrowed someone's board. It was their father's old longboard from the 60s, and it was, 14 fucking feet long. And with no leash, and I just got caught inside, and I lost the board up against the cliffs, and I was just caught in a set of waves that seemed to go on for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, something. And I started to panic, like I thought I was going to die.
Right, yeah.
And I knew that if I panicked, then I probably would.
Yeah.
So I kept it cool.
Try and chill.
Just started swimming, but that kind of sucked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the most expensive thing you've ever bought, not including your house?
Shit, probably a studio. I mean, I've built studios before. I built one in my house in Virginia. I built one out in California, which is a big warehouse complex. I'm not very spendy.
Right.
I do have a thing for private planes, though.
That sounds like an expensive taste.
Yeah, but man,
Do you own one?
they're awesome. Do I own one?
Yeah.
Not yet. Why, are you selling?
Not yet. Very good. Where do you do your thinking? Then maybe that's the studio.
No, I actually do most of my thinking when I'm driving.
Okay.
And in Los Angeles, you spend a lot of fucking time in your car.
Yeah.
Because traffic's outrageous, and I think it's usually when I'm driving, because it's kind of the only peace and quiet I would get.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Planet Earth is dying. Which man and woman will you choose to send in a rocket to go and start a new human race?
You mean to get them the fuck off of planet Earth?
No, they
I
have to
could
go
make a long list. Yeah, I can think of 2 right now. To go start a new
breed or whatever.
A new civilization.
Yes, exactly.
Geez, who would I send? I think I'd probably send. Beyonce and Danny McBride.
Great. That'd be
That's a fucking odd couple.
that'd be beautifully funny.
Yeah, it'd be amazing. It'd be beautiful children with a great sense of humor. Yeah.
Last question. How good are you?
Well, it depends. At barbecue, I'm pretty fucking good. Yeah. At drums, kind of in the middle. At golf, I'm terrible.
You play golf?
Fuck no. Why do you?
No.
I'm not hanging out with you anymore.